Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Coach Lee, and we're working on speech anxiety in all its forms. I would include stuttering, but the person I'm talking to today, Noah Sam, who is a singer from Switzerland, he doesn't stutter, and I don't either. Neither one of us stutter. We used to stutter. And we did a good job of stuttering. We're a bad habit, but we mastered it. We did it very well, and it
Yeah.
created all kinds of problems for us. And so I'm going to ask. I've talked to Noah a number of times over the years, over the last several years, and I know that he just he not only stopped stuttering when one of our stutterers stops stuttering, doesn't stutter for a month or more, we ask him to post a stop stuttering story. And Noah did that a long time ago. He then signed up for WSSA, World Stop Stuttering Academy's uh, program or course to become a certified stuttering specialist. We have the only certified stuttering specialist in the world. People who used to stutter, but they no longer do, and they help other people stop stuttering, and that is what Noah is beginning to do now. He's going to start taking students as I'm help. I that which doesn't mean that I can't talk to Noah and we can't get an update, which is what we're doing
Sure.
today and sharing some of our experiences, which will hopefully be helpful to other stutterers to see. Now you're seeing two people who beat it in one session. And so I'm going to ask Noah to give a little recap of his stuttering journey, uh, how he stuttered, where he stuttered, how he found us, etc. So go ahead and do that if you would be so kind.
I would love to, Coach Lee. So, yeah, I will try to make it brief because I could talk hours about my stuttering journey, as could most stutterers. So, I started stuttering when I was 3.5. Now, I started talking very early, right? I was always interested in language. So, when this stuttering started and I went to like the those children checkups, right? They thought it was just developmental stuttering, which I think some people say 5%, I believe, of children go through a phase of that.
That's right.
But I actually was so advanced in my speech already that it was more severe than they thought. So this then was followed up with all throughout my youth. I mean, or youth.
Right.
I'm approaching 30. I'm no longer young. But all throughout my childhood and teenage years, I did every imaginable form of stuttering therapy or speech therapy, tried everything. Some things worked for a couple days, some things worked for maybe 2 weeks, but it always returned to stuttering rather quickly. And my form of stuttering
May I
was,
ask
yeah,
what kind of
sure.
person did you go to? Who was it? I mean,
Uh,
I practiced law and
yeah,
started a lot of businesses. I also stuttered my buns off until I was 30
yeah.
years old. And I quit completely around age 30. And then I became by age 40, I loved public speaking. And that's my
Hmm.
goal for you. I want
Yeah,
you to love to speak publicly, not just like it. I
yeah.
want you to love it. So go ahead.
Yeah, so it's hard to say I went to so many people, and I'm not exaggerating. I must have went to more than 40 or 50 different people,
Oh my God,
different therapy
40 to
methods over the
60
years.
different
Yeah.
people.
Um,
Wow.
and 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 some of those things, Lee, some of those therapy methods no one has ever heard of. I exhausted every option of traditional and alternative medicine,
So
which
you
the field is
traditional and
wide.
alternative, you were a
Yes,
pioneer.
both. Yes, right. Yeah, which broadened my horizons. I know
Of
now
course.
I know a lot of cool methods in the alternative world, and they're good. They just didn't help me stop stuttering. That was the
Sure.
issue. I sh Very quickly I had no more allergies, which is good. A good side effect. It's not what I went there for, but thanks, I guess.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah,
And
yeah.
what is the main thing? I won't say method. I'll say
Hmm.
what is the main thing that you learned overall, including everything, including our program? What is the main thing that you found has
Hmm.
helped your speech and your life and or your life?
Yeah. I would say it was more of a truth than a method. It was that I am always in control if I want to be of my speech. It's not some external force I'm fighting against. It's always me. It's me, myself, and I. Me versus me, which is
That's life,
which
man.
brings power but also responsibility, right?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
if yeah, if you're the one who is in charge, you have to step up
You know
and be
what
in
you're
charge.
saying? I have another way of saying it. When
Yeah.
I have a problem, I will generally find my solution in the mirror.
Yeah, right.
And that's what you're saying, in effect.
Very true. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's a hard
So,
realization when you realize that, hey, it's not your parents, it's not
yeah.
your friends, it's not your teachers, it's not love it, it's you.
Yeah.
So
It's
go ahead.
fortunate and unfortunate at the same time when you realize it, but it becomes more and more positive as you work on it. So yeah, my stuttering, I mean, you would believe it. I had my first session with you, and when you saw me in that first session, that was like 75% as bad as I could get. And you may remember body and facial contortions all over the place, just
And that's pathetic because you
silent
are by
blocks.
you and I have similar stories because
Hmm.
while I never sung professionally, I
Hmm.
could have. I soloed in church,
Yeah.
and they even paid you a little for that. But I sung in duets, trios, quartets, quintets, you name it. And I was
Hmm.
on the stage, and I was on T. I wasn't on TV. I was on radio live singing. That's how long ago it was. Live radio and singing. So I understand. And like you, when I was on the stage singing, I never stuttered a word in my life.
Yeah.
Not one word. And you didn't
Sure.
either, ever. And so you and I had that exact same experience. So when I talked to you, I said, this guy is myself all
Yeah.
those years ago.
Right.
So anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of about the severity, right? So
So
every
so you
person
came
I knew,
you
yeah.
how did you find us?
Yes. Yes. Well, I found this community. I mean, I had gone through a period of time where I tried to accept it. And that was kind of meh. It got better and then it got worse again. And if you're so severe as I was, it's just uncomfortable and just I don't want to be like this. I knew I could do better and I wanted to do
Well,
better
it
for
was life
myself.
crippling, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I was actively making very different choices than I would have if I wasn't stuttering, right? So after years of not looking up things about stuttering, I Googled for stuttering therapy, stuttering books, and I found that, like, I'm not sure if you know Reddit, it's like a huge internet page. There's sub pages, and there's one sub page about stuttering. And I had just had uh, a very interesting experience. I was talking to my mom that was really stuttering bad. Only me and her. So that used to be, um,
And ironically,
yeah,
let me
it wasn't
insert
high pressure in terms of the
some people
ladder, right?
never stutter with their. I didn't stutter at
Right.
home.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my family never heard me stutter until my
Yeah. Right.
father heard me in court.
Yeah.
That's the first time he couldn't believe it. So
Right.
some people stutter at home, as you
Yeah.
did, and some
Yeah.
people, like myself, never stuttered a word at home.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, in terms of the context, I stuttered everywhere. Of course, not alone, not when I was singing, but every person I knew, even if it was brief,
That
they
was
knew
the
that I
one
stuttered.
exception. But let me ask
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
why? Can you tell us why, looking inside yourself,
Hmm.
why didn't you stutter when you were singing? Why?
Yeah.
Tell me
I mean,
why.
yeah. I mean, there are a bunch of reasons. First of all, with singing, I'm never thinking about the words, right? And also, I am
What were you thinking about?
automatically holding the tone, right? So there's a bunch of things I'm
Let's break
definitely
it down. You
passionate.
didn't
Yeah,
stutter when you were singing because you
yeah,
didn't think the words. What were you
yeah.
thinking?
I was thinking uh of the melody sometimes, but more the message. When I'm
Thank you.
singing, I am first of all, I'm not I've never gotten vocal lessons. I'm more of a storyteller, singer-songwriter type, which means that I'm always thinking of, okay, how do I get into this emotion, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is that mode was very different to how I was speaking because over the years, of course, because of that stutter habit building up more and more and hardening, I had it had gotten intertwined with a lot of fear and overthinking and
You
yeah,
know, you
a
said a
lot more
magic
thinking
word a
that is
minute
good for me.
ago. You said how to get into emotion, how to make yourself express what the song was about. And when you think about how can I sing it or say it like I
Right.
really mean it? And that is what frees us from stuttering.
Yeah.
You got your finger right on the trigger
Mm-hmm.
of the program, the trigger of what works. Always remember that.
Yeah.
Noah. If you never see me or hear from me again, or you never do anything with WSSA again, or you go to another planet, all you got to do is think, how can I say it like I really, truly mean it? Just as if I'm singing without a melody. That's the way you and
Yeah.
I should think about it. We're singing without the melody and the instruments. It's a cappella and
Yeah.
there's no tune to it, but everything else is the same.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
We change that mindset, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Are you beginning to love speaking? Do you feel any of that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, with me, it's interesting. Actually, I don't mind public speaking. Even when I was still stuttering, I had techniques like a presentation. What I would do, I'm not sure if you've seen the movie, the King's Speech.
Yes,
I
of
did a
course.
similar thing when when I did presentations. It was a lot of work, but I always wrote my speech out word by word, and then at home alone with the doors closed and the curtains pulled, I recorded it into my phone. And then during the presentation, I put out one earphone, like one headphone piece, and I played it, and I said my speech in unison with myself. And for me, this would work 100% of the time, which I'm glad it did. Then I was able to kind of, I don't know, speaking in unison is one of those weird things that have always worked for me. as well. So
You
that
know,
was my
I
method.
still, if given the chance, you
Yeah,
hear me talk at SAM sometimes, and you've heard me talk in different places other than
yeah,
in my sessions. When
sure.
I'm prepared, I, Noah, I always prepare if I can. I did nothing
Yeah,
to talk to you today. This is a coaching
sure.
session, but when I'm giving a talk, if there's any way I can prepare it and write it out verbatim and memorize it, I will do that if I have that,
Yeah,
if given the chance. Every single time. Why do I do that? Because I organize my thoughts better. I choose better words. I
hmm,
get into it more and I can really be an actor. Now, do I have to do that? No, I'm not
sure.
doing it now. I'm talking to you. But I
Yeah,
am much better when I prepare. But that's kind of ironic because when you prepare, you decide what words you're going to say. You box yourself in a little bit. Say, oh my gosh, I got to say those words. Oh no, I'll be
yeah,
stuttering, but I don't because I'm thinking, how can I say it like I really, truly, honestly, deep in my heart mean it?
yeah,
It's the how word to be passionate and convincing. When you think how, you're done. If there's
yeah,
one word in lieu of my 700-page book, it's the word how. Think how. When you, 5 years from today, if you hadn't talked to me once since then, you should always never feel abandoned, never feel like you're in jeopardy, because all you got to do is think how.
yeah,
How can Noah sell it big time and do it? Sell it. Pretend you've got instruments, a whole symphony behind you,
yeah,
whatever, and just go for it. You can say anything to anybody, anywhere, anytime. If you think, how can I sell? And if you're thinking words, shut your mouth.
yeah,
You're thinking thoughts, message. You said it a minute ago. You said you thought message and how you could sell it. And that's the bottom line. And as a singer, in a way, Noah, I think it's easier for performers like yourself to beat stuttering than it is for the
yeah.
average person.
Yeah, I think there is definitely a path there. I do agree, and I do think it has helped me. My battle, or one of my battles, it's at times I felt like I was fighting a war on multiple fronts. Like I noticed, oh, I should do more of this, but then I noticed, oh, that's also missing. A lot of it was consistency for me. And I know
And persistence.
it's repeated a lot in the book, but somehow it wasn't enough
Yes,
for me, right? It's
yes.
good that that in your book you have so many repetitions in there because it's important. Because if it's only once, you may miss it. You cannot miss those key things.
There,
So
the most,
consistency and
you're at the
persistence. Yeah,
point now, I'm talking to you with you're in our postgraduate program, if there
yeah,
were such a thing. And that is the real core message of our program is mind training.
yeah,
That's the foundation of everything. And it goes back to what's in the beginning of all of my books. It's this is my short book.
yeah,
It's in the dedication there, and it says, you know what I'm going to say? We have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. That's you and me.
yeah,
Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. So what? Use your mental switch, flick, and dictate your thoughts. Dictate. I didn't say just accept thoughts.
yeah,
We said dictate your thoughts. And what's the last line? Believe that you can improve, and you will. That's it. You should
Yeah.
you should say that every day at the beginning of your mind training session. You should say these two paragraphs every time when you do mind training. And look, when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60, 70, 80 or older, you should be doing daily mind training. It won't have anything to do with stuttering because you're not a stutterer anymore. But it will have to do with the way you think about yourself and your life and everybody around you and what you allow yourself to think and do. You're responsible for your actions, but to do that, you got to take care of your words. And to take care of your words, you got to take care of your thoughts. So it starts with your mind. And that's what it's mind training. That is the program. And you got to do it. You and I have to do it every day when we get up in
Yeah.
the morning, 20 minutes. Before we go to sleep, 20 minutes. And what do? We have our affirmations every day in every way. I grow better and better. When I'm loving, I'm happy. I reject my anger in all its forms. Today I'll make a happy day, and similar statements 20 times each. Why do we do that? Repetition.
Yeah.
That's what you and I have to change the way we think, and we have to stay in control of what we think. And that is a 24-hour job, 7 days a week, and we never get a day off. We never get one off. And it's not a problem. We should look forward to it. Because when you and I are loving, we're happy. When you and I are constructive and productive, we're happy. When we're doing what we know we ought to do, we're happy. Even if we're having trouble doing it, we're still happy to be trying. It's all in here. Life is between our ears, and we're in control of what's between our ears. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's this program. And when you learn that, the stuttering is no longer an issue. The question is, how good is your speech going to be? Are you going to be number one in the world or number one in Switzerland or number one in Zurich or what? I don't know.
Mhm.
But you're going to be number one somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're not even trying, you're not even competing for a number. I don't mean to say that, but
Sure.
you're going to be among the better speakers you know. I know I am, but I have to slow down. I have to follow the basic rules. Pronounce my words. You speak multiple languages. You got to be careful with that because you can fall into blurring your words very easily, and you don't want to do that. So,
Sure.
so where were you? Where were you in your story?
Um, yeah, right. I had tried acceptance for a while, and then I because of something that happened, I want to. It's a fun anecdote. I would like to share it
Good,
if I
good.
can. So I had just finished my I have a bachelor's in social work, and I had just finished that. So after my whole youth being in school, basically, right? And having more stress, I was free for like for a time, right? So there was not really a trigger, but my speech rapidly declined for some reason. Even with my mom in very low pressure. Um, so I was really struggling with something that I told her, and I had my guitar in my hand, as I often do, and I we were talking about something, and then I had played like a chord progression, and then I was like already after having stuttered terribly, I said to my mom already completely fluently, hold on, I gotta record something real quick. And then I proceeded, like I turned down the voice recorder on my phone and I talked into my phone details about the chord progression. Yeah, okay, third finger on the fifth fret, all those things. And while I was doing that, my mom just sat there and thought, "Don't you think that's odd? What just happened?" And at the time, right, I didn't consciously realize it, but she told me later, and I was like, "Oh, you're right. This is weird." And there were a ton of those kinds of situations. So I made a post on that platform, right, Reddit r slash stuttering, and I made a post detailing this experience that I just told you, and all of the situations I was fluent in, and like I remember writing something like, I wish I would find a way to string all of those weird moments together of spontaneous fluency and to kind of I wish there was a method that could yeah that I could apply something that would give me a solution for this.
But
And
there is.
then yeah, actually yeah, right. And Danny wrote me a message recommending me this very book right here.
Ha!
Your magnum opus. And it was intriguing to me because of the neuroplasticity. As mentioned, I had done a lot of alternative medicine things. So I had heard of things that were kind of tangential to neuroplasticity. The alternative world was a bit quicker to adopt those things than the traditional side, right? Um, so yeah, I read it in record time, probably. Um, and even just by reading it, I became a lot more fluent than I have been in those tougher weeks. And of course, then later I started to really apply the techniques, and then I wrote a message to you for a coaching session after having read it. And yeah, the rest you kind of know. It did take me more longer than most to beat it. It took me more than a year, but still, if you compare that to think what would it be like 24, 23 years of stuttering? One
It took
year is
me about,
nothing. I'll take
it
it.
probably took me my 20s because I didn't
Yeah,
have any help, you know.
right.
You're saying over a year, and that's pretty good. We say um I mean to stop the hardcore humiliating stuttering
Hmm.
um 1 to 3 months for most people if they
Yeah,
will apply if they will really apply the core
right.
methods, the crutches, if they'll apply
Yeah.
some of those that one person likes crutch 1, 3, and 5, and somebody else likes 2 and 7 and whatever. But if they will use those basic crutches, they will they will stop having humiliating incidents. Now, it didn't take you over a year to stop humiliating incidents, I don't think.
I yeah, I would say
Oh,
so.
did
Yeah,
it?
actually, it did, but of course,
Okay.
it's on
All right.
me. I'm the one to blame, of course. But yeah, that's what I meant with fighting a war on
When
multiple fronts.
in
Yeah,
that year, during that year
yeah.
plus, when did you first encounter me? Did you encounter me at all during that year?
Yes, yes, I did. I encountered you, right? I mean, rather close to the start of
Okay,
that year.
okay,
I would
okay.
say, yeah,
All
it's,
right.
I mean, with stopping
You
that, I mean, it took me over a year to become a PWSS, right?
you know,
And as
the
mentioned,
truth is
I was a
your
very
story
bad
is
stutterer.
probably more normal, more typical than you and I think, probably.
Yeah,
It's hard to get people to admit to be as candid
yeah,
with each other as you and I are.
yeah.
It's difficult. The
And I think,
barriers are
yeah,
gone. We're no
yeah,
longer, you and I aren't
sure.
ashamed of having been through this problem. We're
Yeah,
proud of it because
yeah,
we've come out the other side a lot stronger than we went in. And we're able to help some other people. And if you're the only person I ever help, it's all my 8 books are worth it. And if you help one person, it's that by itself is worth doing the program and everything else. to get somebody else across that finish line. Um, as you well know, the finish line isn't clearly marked. When you
Yeah,
get there,
yeah,
they don't,
definitely.
nobody says, "Oh, Noah, you crossed the finish line."
Right.
Nobody says that.
No, no.
You gotta know when you have, and I think you're kind of saying, as I do, oh, the finish line is not a stripe; it's a huge thing,
Yes,
you know.
absolutely. And I think there is an incredible amount of truth to that. And actually, even um, from the time after having become a PWSS, I feel like I have progressed on that stretch very far, especially during my training to become a CSS. I've gotten more confident in everything that I do in terms of my
Well, that's
crutches
the
and
whole.
everything as well.
That's the point.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's helping massively.
I've said to you, and I've said to everyone, the main thing. I have 13 grandchildren,
Hmm.
and they none of them stutters, nor did any of my sons. But
Hmm.
I try and teach them what you just said, that mind training. You and I and everybody else, our biggest job is mind training.
Yeah.
And that means resisting all the nonsense, all the negative stuff that's coming from everywhere. We have to block that stuff out. And
Yeah.
it's not like anybody's after me or after you. That's not the case. It's just
Sure.
that negativity fills the universe. So does positivity. And it's a question of what you want to, is the glass half empty or is the
Hmm.
glass half full? And you and I know that it's half full, and it's plenty full enough for you and
Yeah.
I to have very nice lives if we conduct ourselves in a way that deserves it. But
Yeah.
if we're not productive, if we're not constructive, if we're not trying to improve and trying to help others and being a loving person, we're never going to be happy. It's not going to happen. I don't care how good looking we are, how many songs we sell, or anything else.
Sure.
Not going to be happy long term. We got to do our best and we got to be loving people. That's the bottom line. And we got to block out all the negative stuff that's trying to get into us every minute of every day as long as we live.
Yeah.
And that's this program.
Very
That's
true.
what this program
Yeah.
is. And yes, we do deal with stuttering. Oh yeah. We punch holes all through stuttering.
Yeah.
Like I boiled it down. What drives me crazy is a 700-page book. Can you say it in less? Well, I tried here, 86 pages.
Yeah.
Can you say it in less? How about can you say it in this many pages? And
Yeah.
I'm trying, and basically it comes down to what you've said at the very beginning of your comments here. You talked about thinking, message, and
Yeah.
how to be passionate about your message. That that is anyone who will do that conscientiously, but you really got to commit to it. You can't
Yeah.
just say it. You gotta force yourself to commit to it. Can you say it like you mean it, Noah? And
Yes.
when you really commit to it, you're done.
Right.
And how much you need to commit depends upon how severe your stuttering is at that time.
Yeah.
How extreme do you need to be is a function of how severe, what's left of your stuttering. In your
Hmm.
case, virtually none. In my case, I won't say none, but I'll say almost none. You say you won't say none after all these decades? No, I won't say none. I'll say almost none. And the big thing is, I don't think about the
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
I think about the solution. The solution is what you said, how to say it like I mean it. That's the solution. And training my mind to dwell on the positives. I'm not sick. I do not have a headache. I don't have a stomach ache. I don't have a skin rash. Blah, 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 blah. It's dwelling on positives. I'm still virtually as healthy. I got a couple of holes in my heart. And I don't know why, but age does stuff, So I'm short
Yeah.
of breath, and that's my biggest problem. So I have problem if I have to walk very far, you know, the first 10 steps I'm fine, and then I start to need to slow down, and then I got to stop and get my breath. But other than that, my health's as good today as it was when I was your age.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Great. Yeah,
That's saying a
absolutely it
lot.
is.
And so there's the hope. The program is about controlling your mind.
Yeah.
That's what our program is about. And in a positive way, because you can do it. I mean, it is any neurologist would tell you that if you walk around saying I'm stupid all day long, you lower your IQ.
Right.
And if you walk around saying I'm bright, you'll raise it. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to become Einstein or the village idiot, but you can dramatically change your intelligence level. And you can also change your health.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. And that's why this program, yeah, you beat stuttering, and that's life changing, life saving stuff by itself.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you're changing the way you think about everything in your life. When you're doing your best and being a loving person all the time, and you're pushing out anything that conflicts with that, you're making yourself a very desirable person.
Absolutely. And I'm
Everybody.
yeah. And I'm like massively improving my quality of life in every
Exactly.
area, right? I'm and yeah, I mean for me even just getting rid of stuttering accomplishes a lot of that because I can let myself shine brighter than I would
Exactly.
have been able to with the stuttering because yeah, I mean you wouldn't believe all of the choices in my life that I've looked back on and I said, yep, that one was because of stuttering, because I was scared to do it with stuttering, so I chose a different thing. That. I can look back and at least 50, no, it depends on the situation, but
I
a
would
lot
say
of
this to
major
you.
choices as well.
In terms of the future, when when as and if the stuttering demon comes out of the shadows and slides into your mind and whatever on occasion, as it does uh, to a point, the extent of the problem is overcome by the extent of your commitment to being passionate about your message. No
Yes,
matter where you are, if you can just flip that switch and convert, think, no, how can I say this with more feeling, with more love, with more effectiveness, with more appeal? How can I do that? You know, think about that. And that's you demand to think that, and you can do it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets to do it. Until when? Until that demon doesn't really come to you anymore. You may know that
yeah,
it's out there. I still know it's out there, but it doesn't really come to me anymore.
yeah. And what has been major for me as well, I mean, I could fill hours with with the amount of problems that I faced throughout this progress and the ones I've overcome. I actually think in my in my training, and I think in my conducting of the of my uh in my conducting of the fluency sessions, I think the amount of problems that I've went through is a positive, because as far like a lot of
Sure.
people throughout this community have asked me for advice on things, and I'm serious, I've yet to encounter a problem of theirs that I have not personally conquered in this speech journey.
Great.
I think I have faced every problem you can have, which is why it took me so long. But that's great because I can pull from a lot of experience, and it's a strength, and I'm very open about it. Because it's you versus you, and it's
That's it.
every like we each have our own. We have different starting points, different types of stuttering, different severity. We have different lives that we live, different contexts that we exist in. So yeah, I'm fine with the fact that it has taken me longer. I think I've done the best I can, and I've come out the other
And it's
side.
worked.
Yes,
It's
right.
worked. Look,
Yeah,
I mean, you started stuttering around age 3,
yeah,
and so you stuttered what, 20 some years,
yeah,
right? I
more, yeah.
mean, and
Mm.
so I mean, the fact that it takes a year and change or whatever to nail it, so what?
Right. Even that is
I
wild.
didn't start stuttering at age 3. I
Yeah,
started in my teens, my early teens. It was a horrible thing that happened to me in school, and I
yeah,
was so-called grown up, kind of. I didn't remember the exact date. I'm going to say I was maybe closer to 15 when I really wiped out with stuttering, and it just became overnight, took over my life. It was a terrible day. I can remember it like it was yesterday.
yeah.
I know exactly what classroom I was in. I know what desk I was in. I could find it. That school's still there. That classroom's still there. I could find it for you, show you. There's probably blood on the chair. My blood. Everybody laughed. I was funny. Lovett couldn't talk,
Yeah,
but he could. He finally
right.
could. But so you're doing your mind training every
Yes,
morning. You're doing it
yes,
before you go to sleep. And
yes.
during the day, most importantly, during the day, what are you doing?
I still read an hour. I still do that. And I use my crutches. That's the big thing, of course. And I do play my affirmations during the day, but I would say it's more situational. Like if something big is coming up, I will make it a point to really play them a lot during idle times.
This is a
I
hard
also,
question.
yeah,
What how many, either how many minutes a day or what percentage of the time do you have negative thoughts about speech? Can you guess?
yeah,
Can you give us any kind of a number?
absolutely. Well, first I will tell you where I started. When I was at that bad place with the voice recording and yeah, with that anecdote, I was 55 maybe or 50, which is a lot in an hour. Like 50 minutes in an hour, I mean. Um, and now I mean, negative thoughts about my speech, I would have to think if I could even quantify it, maybe 1 or 2 minutes at most in an hour.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And even that is probably a high estimate. It's probably less.
I'll
I
say
don't even really
1%.
think about my speech anymore,
I'll say
I would say.
1%. I'll say it was
Yeah.
50% and now
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
And I
Well, I
would
think
say
that's fair.
mine is 0.0000001.
Yeah. Right.
And when you have one, what do you do? You
Well,
have a program?
yes, sure. Well, if I think negatively of it, it's different than if I feel a block is coming, right? Sometimes that's at the same time, sometimes not. Most of the time is at the same time. But when a block is coming, it's easy. I wear my tool belt, my metaphorical tool belt with all of the speech tools. I can do them
Perfect. I
all
love
well.
that. No one's ever said that before to me. I
Yeah.
love that.
And
Your
and yeah,
metaphorical tool belt of crutches. I love that.
yes, right. And like I know what every tool does. They all do different job. I mean, they accomplish the same thing,
Yeah.
but I use them. Some tools are more similar to each other, and I just grab them because they're on my
Within
hip
the last couple of
at all
months,
times. And
within the
even
last
now,
couple of months, I have come to conclude something that I do not think is in my books. I may have said it to you, or you may have heard me say it at Stutter to Sam. I don't know. But when you have, what is the one thing? Why do you know? Why do you know that there can never be a word you can't say anywhere, anytime? I don't care who. No, no, no hold barred. Why do you know, you personally, right
mhm.
now, know that there will never be a time when there's any word you can't say? Why do you know that?
Well, first of all, it's not about words, and I can say anything else, right? Instead of saying that word, I can, for example, if I was blocked on the word, I will do a realistic example. Blocked, for example,
Let's
with a B.
assume,
Yeah.
wait a minute, let me interrupt
Blocked,
you.
blocked, well
I want to
blocked.
pin you down. I want to pin you down.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
put you in the Swiss Army, and you're now private
Oh
first
no.
class Noah, and they're having a roll call. Everybody's
Yeah.
up in the morning. You're in a line of guys, and and everybody is being asked to say their rank and their name. Private first class Lee Lovett, sir. And then the next guy and the next guy and the next guy, and it comes your turn, and you are potentially stuck on a word, and you're in this line, and you've
Yeah.
got to say these words. Let's say it's private Noah Sam. That's enough. Private Noah Sam. That's what you have to say. You
Yeah.
know you have to say it. And potentially in your stuttering days, you'd have been stuck on private, you'd have been stuck on Noah, you'd have been
Yeah.
stuck on Sam. Why do you know that you can do this every morning at 7 a.m. or any other time? They can put you in this line and demand you say this when your turn arrives. Say, why do you know you can do it?
Well, I know I can do it because I know my methods that I have work.
What,
They have worked.
specifically,
Yeah.
what can
Yes.
you do to say
Okay.
private
Sure.
Noah Sam? What can you do?
Sure. For there's a bunch of different routes I would take. For example, if I was stuck on the word private, I could do private Noah Sam, right? Dropping the first letter. That would be easy. Or I could do a crutch four. Private Noah Sam. Or private Noah Sam. Well, private
Now,
Noah Sam.
what are
I
you
could even
doing?
whisper
I'm
a
having
part. That's
trouble
so much.
hearing. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm having trouble
Okay.
hearing. What are you doing when you use crutch four?
So I insert a word or sound. So sometimes it's an ah, sometimes an sometimes a well, like a word.
Okay.
So If it was like a military roll call, I would
Okay.
probably do a sound and not a word because it's a strict situation.
Okay.
They would maybe not want a word. So I would do Private Noah Sam, which
You
nobody would
you
notice.
have given me two answers that
Yeah.
I'll say are perfect, and I know you can give me other answers. You could go on
Yeah.
through the crutches and give me other answers, but you have given me two answers that I think are perfect. Why do I think they're perfect? Because Noah, they'll always work without
Right.
fail. When you drop the first letter, the word may be, you say, well, when you drop the first letter, the word may be unintelligible. So in that rare case, that one wouldn't work. Crutch four will, because it says insert another word or sound.
Yeah.
It says sound, sound, sound. No, you can always make a sound, man. Your day
Right.
will never come when you're on this planet. If you live to be 110, you will always be able to make a sound, Noah, as long as you're here. No one can ever stop you, Noah, from making a sound, or No one can ever stop you. Noah, that is the perfect answer. You did drop the first letter and did the same thing, and you could do other things and accomplish the same thing. But I'm telling you
Right.
right now, the sound, and I should have put it, but I didn't know it at the time I wrote these books. I wrote these books over a 10-year period, but I stopped writing them some time ago. And the truth is, Noah, a sound always works.
Yes.
Noah, it always works. Noah, if you live to be 110, there will never be a time. Never, Noah. You're finished with humiliating stuttering. It's over.
Yeah.
You can have all the thoughts and memories, that's fine. They'll die over time from disuse. We forget what we don't do, but it'll take a while. That's not the point. The point is, if you remembered it till you were 110, you would still be able to say any word, anywhere, anytime, Noah. And you know that, and you believe it in here, you believe it
Absolutely.
in here, and you prove it every time you need to prove it. When you make a sound, you break the block every time. If you connect, if you don't connect the
Yes.
sound, it won't help.
Absolutely.
You got to connect. So you make a sound and connect it. You got to say that. So the magic answer, the perfect answer you gave me was the second answer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't insert a word, it was insert a sound. That's what I've learned from coaching since I wrote those books.
Absolutely. And I will say, especially the jamming it into that following word, that's the magic, right? I mean, with, and it's truly, if I get a first feared word problem, that's the one I grab. I do a sound. Most of the time, I do a sound, and I really sometimes it feels like I'm melting the ends of the like I'm melting the start of the word, the first letter. I'm melting it and I'm melting the sound and then I'm reforming them. For example, with private, I probably in a
And
high
sometimes
pressure
you have to drop a
situation.
letter because, like K's
Yeah.
and C's, P's, maybe it's hard to say them with
Yes.
a sound. So you drop the
Yes.
letter.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes I do a combination. Instead of saying private, which sometimes isn't enough for me, I will go private, right? The P is still there,
Wait a
but
minute.
it's
I
more
heard a
linked.
break. Private.
Yeah.
Say that.
Private.
No,
Private.
no, private.
Private.
There you go. You
Yeah,
see the
right.
difference?
Yes.
You got to that link, Noah. When you're coaching, You got to teach that link.
Yes.
You got to make them do it for you. You got
Yes,
to prove it.
absolutely.
How are you? Say that.
How are you?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
My name is Noah.
My name is Noah.
Give me some butter.
Give me some butter.
Now, all we're doing is starting with a sound and we're holding it through all
Right,
the words. In effect, Noah, that's it. You
right,
can do that forever and nothing is going to stop you. If you won't do it, you know why? Because the minute you make a sound, your mind is 100% on the sound.
right,
So it leaves the problem word. It leaves the word private or no, Noah. It leaves the word and it goes to the sound. Ah. Now, if you hold that sound into the word, there is no problem with the word. Because what you did, Noah, is you changed your mind. You no longer are saying private or Noah. You're not doing that. You're making a
yeah,
sound. Your brain has turned around and it's working on the sound.
yeah,
It's not working on the word.
right,
And as long as you hold it, but that's the essence. If you have a millisecond, a nanosecond of break, all bets are off. You'll stutter, or you can't
absolutely,
stutter. You can't stutter if there's no break. You can't do it, Noah. And that's why you could sing
right,
without stuttering, because you're thinking about the melody and holding your tune. You can't think about the melody and have a problem with words. Not going to happen. You got to stop the melody, at least for a nanosecond. You got to do it. And that's what you got to make sure your stuttering students don't do.
yeah,
It's not how are you, it's how are you. And there, you got to hear them. It's like a stream,
yeah, right, right,
with a strong current. You're just tossing things into the stream and off they go. You know,
right,
and you're throwing words in there, they're going.
yeah, absolutely,
God, it's so simple. Oh,
right,
I wish I'd understood. I don't know. You understand it though, because you've been through so many generations of stuttering.
yeah, I have, Lee, I have.
And that's what it takes. That's why I say it takes an ex-stutter, in my opinion, to really understand how to stop stuttering, to really
Yeah,
understand. Anybody can read it and say what we say. And God bless them. I hope they do. But it takes somebody like you or me, I think, to really say it and mean it and prove it and be able to guide the other guy in the right direction. Listen, I got to
absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
It's great talking to you. It's a lot of fun. A lot of
Yes,
fun.
absolutely. I really appreciate this catching up. It's been a while. We
I
haven't
know it.
talked in months.
You don't
Yeah.
need me anymore. We're just socializing and having a good
Yeah,
time,
right.
you
Right.
know? But
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for all the work you've done for me and for all the hundreds of others. It's really wonderful,
well,
and I can never
we
repay
hope it
you.
we it's thousands and we hope it's millions
Yeah,
eventually with the help of people like you. Okay, man. Have a great
fantastic.
day, what's left of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
See you soon.